Hey guys, welcome to Monday Motivation slash Z-Gym slash Coffee Talk. So today I just want to catch up and tell you guys what's been going on with me and my injury and how I've been dealing with it. So I'm gonna start by saying that I haven't worked out for over 2 weeks now, and I honestly cannot tell the difference in my body because I've been on keto diet, and I have posted about that on my Instagram today, letting you guys know that if you ever happen to injure yourself, or if you ever want to take time off and just give yourself time to recover and rejuvenate, and maybe you want to take 2 weeks off of exercising and just focus on massages and postural therapy and things like that, then the keto diet is something that's gonna really help you to keep your muscle mass, all the muscles that you've worked so hard for. It's gonna help you to keep them, and also it's gonna keep the fat burning mode going. So keto diet has been a savior for me, because if I if I wouldn't be in keto, if I was eating normally, I would probably have more cravings, because when you cannot exercise, when exercise is such a central part of your life, and if you cannot do that, then you're gonna have some emotional response to it, and my emotional response to it would be definitely snacking a lot and I would be probably trying to comfort myself with food. So the keto diet is great for that, because you don't have cravings when you're in keto. You're not really that hungry when you're in keto, and that's wonderful, because at least I didn't gain any unwanted weight or lost muscles or anything like that. That would be a double bummer for me. It's different than when you're going on vacation, for example. If you take 2 weeks off because you want to go on vacation, that's completely different. You know, you're on vacation, you're enjoying yourself, so you don't watch what you eat, you don't even exercise, you know, it's your vacation, it's understandable, and you don't feel, when you get back from vacation, even if you gained a few pounds, you don't feel so bummed about it, because you know that you enjoyed yourself. But right now I am not enjoying myself because I can't exercise. I want to exercise, and if I gained fat on top of that, I would be really, mad about that. So I am enjoying the keto diet very much, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is how I'm dealing with my pain. So it started when I was on a hiking trip, and I hurt my knee initially, and then it traveled all the way to my back. I could blame the hiking trip or the hiking trail, but I'm not gonna do that, because that wouldn't be right. The real reason why I got injured was due to bad posture. That's the bottom line. And part of it was my fault, because I should have known better. I've been dealing with my hips, with the wrong tilt of my hips for quite some time, and I've known that, and I knew that I'm supposed to be working on that, and I was slacking off. So I've been dealing with anterior pelvic tilt. It's so hard for me to pronounce it. Anterior pelvic tilt. And that means that you have that curve in your lower back a little bit more than you should. So it's like the Donald Duck kind of butt. You're sticking your butt out, you have that tilt. That's what I've been dealing with, and that happens to athletes, that happens to people who are really active, who do a lot of strength training, especially if you're doing squats. When you're doing squats, you want that anterior pelvic tilt. You want that because that's a power position. It gives you power to lift weights, or to jump, or to do whatever from that position. So let me show you just what I'm talking about real quick. So when you're doing squats, you really want to push your hips back and maintain the curve in your lower back. And especially if you're going below parallel, you want to have your feet slightly everted and your knees pointing slightly outwards, pushing off of your heels, chest up. So this is a great position for a squat. It gives you a lot of power when you stand up from that position. Now, because this position promotes the anterior pelvic tilt, it's very important that outside of the gym or outside of your exercise mat, you don't keep it that way. You have to always work on making sure that your pelvis is back to neutral position when you don't need the anterior pelvic tilt anymore, you know. So just remember, the tilt is good for squatting, but other than that, you should get rid of it. You should always have your hips in neutral position. And that's really hard if you already have the anterior pelvic tilt, because you already have the muscle memory to keep it that way. So now you have to work in reverse to strengthen the muscles around it to position the pelvic back into neutral position. So the anterior pelvic tilt is very tricky because it causes your hip flexors to become taut, like stiff, not short, so that you have to stretch them. That's different. They might be long, but just frozen in that elongated position. So most of the time when people have that back pain and they have the anterior pelvic tilt, they start stretching their hip flexors thinking that it's going to help them to alleviate the pain. But it actually can make the pain worse, because once you start stretching muscles that are stiff, you can hurt those muscles, or you can just make the pain worse, make the problem worse. So it's important to know that there's a difference between short, tight muscles and elongated, stiff muscles. So when you have the elongated, stiff muscles, and that's something that kind of sneaked up on me, I should have known better again, but it sneaked up on me, that those stiff hip flexors. So when you have that problem, you want to strengthen them, you have to re-engage them, you have to make them functional again, because you need those muscles to be more pliable. So I'm now working on strengthening my hip flexors. And the other thing that sneaked up on me because of the pelvic tilt, you know, was weak gluteus medius. Gluteus medius is here. It's when you touch your lower back, you feel this bone right there, that's your pelvis. Right next to it, in this area, is your gluteus medius. And when that muscle becomes dysfunctional, it can also cause you a lot of trouble, lower back pain, all kinds of things. You know, when you're already somebody who's really active and does a lot of strength training and a lot of glute work and things like that, you kind of don't consider this kind of thing that could be option, and it actually happens to a lot of athletes that they kind of forget about the gluteus medius muscle. So a lot of times it happens that you have to do a soft tissue massage to kind of massage out if there are any knots, any trigger points, things like that. Soft tissue massage really helps, and then focusing on strengthening the muscle. So I'm going to show you what kind of exercises I'm doing to strengthen my hip flexors and strengthen the gluteus medius, which gives my lower back a lot of relief. My knee doesn't hurt anymore, by the way. And talking about the knee, the gluteus medius can also cause a lot of problems with the knees. So as you can see, it's all connected, and it all comes down to your posture, overall posture. And this is why I love postural therapy. For one, it addresses your body as a whole. So because everything is connected, it's just like a chain reaction. When your hip goes out of whack, everything else goes out of whack. So you cannot treat just the site of the pain, you have to treat your entire body. The only downfall with postural therapy is that it's a long process, and it's also very time-consuming process. You know, not everybody wants to spend additional 30 minutes a day doing postural therapy. I am totally guilty of that because I haven't been walking my talk. I've been telling you guys to do your postural therapy. Now I suffer myself because I haven't been doing what I was supposed to be doing, what I should have been doing. Because if I was doing the postural therapy on a daily basis, I wouldn't have suffered the anterior pelvic tilt and all those troubles that associate with it. You know, all those weak muscles and stiff muscles, things like that around the pelvis. I wanted to show you a picture of myself that was right after I hurt myself. As you can see on this picture, my right shoulder is elevated. And the reason why is because my right hip was elevated. And the reason why it was because my gluteus medius on the left side was really weak. So you can see it very clearly on this picture what happened there. So I'm strengthening the muscles on my left side, but also you have to do it kind of on both sides so that you don't develop another muscle imbalance. What I do is that I'm doing these like hip lift. So I step on the yoga block and I lift my right leg up above parallel to engage my hip flexors, and at the same time I have to engage the gluteus medius so that my hip on the right side doesn't drop down. When it drops down, then it's a real weakness, but you have to engage the muscle, bring the leg up, and then I just do some pumps like this, 10, and then I go down, up, hold it, 10, and then down. And then I do the same thing on the other side, on the other leg. Another exercise that I really like for the anterior pelvic tilt, for bringing the hips neutral and strengthening my hip flexors, is this one. You're gonna place your back, lower back, flat against the wall, and then go a little bit farther away from the wall, as if you wanted to do just a wall sit. But you're gonna place your hands behind your head. Your feet are hip width apart, and you're gonna slide below your knees with your hips, and then lift your toes off of the ground and just keep all the weight on your heels and hold. And if you cannot hold this, or if you cannot lift your toes, then there's a lot of immobility, flexibility issues, muscle imbalances, and probably weak hip flexors. So you have to be able to hold this for at least 1 minute. And then try to work your way up to 2 minutes. This is tough exercise. Try to get even lower with your butt. And this way, really re-engage those hip flexors. So guys, that's it for today's video. And I just want to tell you that this week in the Z Gym, I'm gonna be back. Jackie does only Tuesday workout, the advanced one, the 300 calorie rep that I have put together for her and for you. But I'm gonna be back on Wednesday and Thursday with new workouts, and I'm thinking about putting together a series for mobility and flexibility. So, because I've also noticed some issues in Jackie's posture. She has a hard time squatting down below parallel without lifting her heels up and leaning forward. And go as slow as you can. As low. Get lower. I can't. Get lower. Okay. Is that okay? Okay. So is this, and then when you try to get any lower than that, what happens?
I mean, I could if my heels came up, but
okay. So your heel comes up.
yeah.
So this shows that there is some, I can actually see some immobility in the ankles. That's the dorsiflexion that you have to work on. She does lift heavy. She shouldn't really lift heavy weights if she doesn't have the mobility to do that. So just remember that. It's like when you don't have the mobility in your hips and your ankles, and you have obviously tight muscles on your calves and hamstrings, then those issues need to be addressed before you do any intense exercise, because that's like the foundation of your fitness, your mobility and your flexibility. So just remember that. And for that reason, I decided that I'm gonna work on some series that will address these issues so that we can all develop a really strong, good, healthy base for our fitness, for our training, because it really sucks when you hurt yourself like this and can't continue to exercise. So this definitely was a lesson for me. I've learned from that, and I'm gonna move forward accordingly. So guys, that's it for today. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you don't miss any new videos, and I will see you guys in the Z Gym with another workout. Ciao!